There seems to be so many things that divide us, so few great purposes that unite us as they once did. And it's at moments like this, moments when politics fail, that I believe we do well to remember that what unites us far exceeds anything that sets us apart in America.
Governor Mike Pence focusing on bringing the country together and the party together. But did his speech help?
Well, here to weigh in is political strategist Morgan Ortagus. Morgan, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Hello from Cleveland.
Hello from Cleveland. So even Mike Pence joked last night about most people not even knowing who he is. Well, this morning, a lot of voters know a little bit more about him. What were your thoughts?
I loved his self-deprecating humor when he joked about that. I was just really charmed by him. I thought he was warm. I thought he was very gracious to his nominee. And I think this is what's really important about the VP presidential picks that both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have to make. You need to have somebody who's going to ultimately not take the spotlight away from you and who's going to shine and focus on the candidate. I think Pence's biggest strength last night as well is after a sort of ruckus speech before him, Pence sought to calm conservatives and assure them that this is going to be a ticket that governs in a conservative manner. And I think that was a crucial outcome for Trump in this campaign and this convention.
You know, something else that has been front and center, at least throughout this convention, is the importance of family. And Governor Pence talked a little bit about his upbringing as well.
Yeah, I love that.
For those of you who don't know me, which is most of you, I grew up on the front row of the American dream. My grandfather immigrated to this country. I was raised in a small town in southern Indiana in a big family with a cornfield in the backyard. Although we weren't really a political family, the heroes of my youth were President John F. Kennedy and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
A little something that everyone can relate to there, Morgan.
Yeah. I love when the camera panned to his mother. She seemed just in shock and in awe that her son was being nominated to be vice president. Those are the moments in conventions that I think really are just the ones that are most impactful because they're emotional. And you remember that these are normal people with families. I also loved what Pence had to say about Dr. Martin Luther King and President JFK. And why is that? It's because that they delivered a hopeful message that inspired Americans. And quite frankly, I think this convention may have been lacking that a little bit to this point until it came to Pence last night. Pence gave us a reason, gave Americans a reason to vote for a Trump-Pence ticket as opposed to just voting against Hillary. And that's really what I was waiting for this week. And I just think that he knocked it out of the park by delivering a hopeful, optimistic message and by saying this is why you should vote for us and this is what we will get done and this is the tone that we're setting for America.
Well, next up, Hillary Clinton going to announce her VP pick any day now. Likely they will speak at the convention in Philadelphia next week. She's saying she wants someone with national security experience. And as you know, whoever it is will have to debate against Mike Pence. How do you think she's thinking about it?
That's a tough choice because Pence is very likable and very warm. I think he'll come across quite well in the VP debates. I think the first rule of these candidates choosing a VP is do no harm. They need to choose a VP who doesn't overshadow them, who doesn't take the media away from them. But in the way Mike Pence did it last night is what Hillary Clinton needs in a VP, someone who respects her, who supports her, and will let her shine. So I don't necessarily see that being Elizabeth Warren. I could be wrong. But I think one of the reasons why Tim Kaine is bandied about so much is because while Hillary Clinton would like to run on her foreign policy experience, unfortunately, that's full of Benghazi, ISIS taking over in Iraq under her wing under her tenure as State Department head. So whoever is the next president is inheriting a mess in the world. We've got civil wars in Libya, in Iraq. We had North Korea test firing rockets this week. That didn't get really much play in the press considering what's going on in the conventions. So the next president is inheriting a scary world, and both of them are going to need to really beef up their national security teams because America has got to lead again.
North Korea, the South China Sea, Russia, not to mention ISIS in Iraq and Syria. So one piece of advice quickly that you would give Donald Trump. He is speaking tonight.
You know, I would love to hear from his heart. I think that he talks about making America great again. He hits Hillary quite a bit. I would take a cue from his VP nominee and really speak to the heart of why he's running and what he wants to do. I want him to give the American people a reason to vote for him tonight and not just a reason to vote against Hillary.
All right, we'll leave it there. That's good advice. Morgan Ortagus, thanks for being with us. Have a good day in Cleveland.